Hi there, I'm Logan Medish, and this is High Caliber History. On December 13th, 1863, Thomas Leech and Charles Rigdon dissolved their partnership, effectively putting an end to Leech and Rigdon, the second largest manufacturer of revolvers in the Confederacy. It was not, however, the end of the operation. Instead, Rigdon teamed up with Jesse Ansley and a few others and resumed production as Rigdon, Ansley and Company. Now, to make sense of all this, we have to back up to the 1850s. Thomas Leech initially was a successful cotton merchant in Memphis, Tennessee. He and four other British investors set up shop at 35 Front Row Street in Memphis. With the outbreak of the Civil War in 1861, Leech began dealing in the lucrative venture as a government contractor. On August 29, 1861, he took out an ad in the Memphis Daily Appeal for 10,000 pounds of zinc, copper, and brass for military purposes. Less than 3 weeks later, the newly formed Thomas Leech and Company took out another ad in the paper, this time announcing that they would be taking orders for swords, sabers, cutlasses, knives, bayonets, bullet molds, and much more. By the spring of 1862, Leech had teamed up with Charles Rigdon, a maker of pharmaceutical scales, to make swords. They operated out of the Memphis Novelty Works, and this was located at the corner of Main and McCall Streets there in Memphis. But due to Union activity in Tennessee, the company didn't stay there for very long. An ad taken out by Leech and Rigdon in the Memphis Daily Appeal noted that the remaining swords that they had would be sold quickly and that they were relocating the following day to Columbus, Mississippi. Once the company officially relocated to Mississippi, Memphis was dropped from the name and it was simply known as the Novelty Works. It was at this time that they branched out and started making revolvers. Now, the speed with which they were able to establish themselves in a new location and begin churning out revolvers is quite remarkable. They began relocation in May, and by August were advertising, quote, a very superior Navy repeater on the same plan and fully equal to Colt's patent. Initial production reports from November of 1862 indicate that they were able to produce 20 to 30 guns a week and that they were seeking a contract with the Confederate government at a price of $55 per gun. As Union pressure grew in the South, Leech and Rigdon moved to Greensboro, Georgia. They purchased the Greensboro Steam Factory and quickly resumed their operations there. After securing a Confederate contract on March 6, 1863, the partners made their copies of the Colt Model 1851 Navy for only a few more months before the partnership dissolved on December 13, 1863. Why exactly the partnership failed is unknown. There are no records of exactly why they went their separate ways. It appears that Rigdon took all of the machinery and most of the workmen when they opened the Georgia Iron Works. He wasted no time in finding new business partners. An ad in the local paper on January 27, 1864 noted the formation of Rigdon, Ansley and Company. This was Rigdon along with Jesse A. Ansley, Andrew J. Smith, and Charles R. Keene. Their offices were located at 300 Broad Street in Augusta, Georgia, and the factory employed 60 men. Production resumed as normal under this new banner, with the main distinction between the guns simply being the different names from the different partnerships on them. Now, there are subtle differences here and there, but visually that's going to be the easiest tell between the two. All told, approximately 1,200 revolvers were made under the Leech and Rigdon name, with another 900 or so being made under the Rigdon, Ansley and Company name. It's believed that the latter ceased production by late January 1865, as no other government records have been found detailing their contracts in manufacturing. Now, almost all Confederate revolver production ran into hardships. None of the firms were ever on a really solid footing, so it's quite remarkable that Leech and Rigdon and Rigdon, Ansley and Company managed to survive the dissolution of the original partners, reform as a new company within a month, relocate, and then churn out guns until almost the final months of the Civil War. It's really quite impressive. I'm Logan Medish, this is High Caliber History, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy the channel and the content here and you think you've got even $1's worth of knowledge out of it, head on over to the Patreon page and become a patron there. We've got a bunch of different levels and some awesome swag that you can get as well. There's a link to it in the description. Thanks and have a great day.